Hey, fellow resistors, we have something that I think you're going to find really special. It's a video that our team shot when we were in Mexico at the Pan American Congress at the beginning of August. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to just share some of the great messages we're receiving from all over. Canadian people understand a boycott, and they know how to treat betrayal. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, as my uncles would say, elbows up. That's from MK. As an American, I'm not buying red state products either. The cherries and cucumbers I purchased this week are from Canada, and I don't plan to buy any of Trump's imported Russian eggs either. Good thinking, Rick, and they're probably not the best for you anyways. Okay, here's from Beth, another one from the U.S. So deeply proud of our magnificent neighbors to the north. Keep standing strong for what is right. Oh, Canada, glorious and free. And Susan puts a Canadian spin on that, saying, true north, strong, free, united, sorry? No, not sorry. So Trump, we're still coming at you. And here's a great one that we received from Gray. Sending some love and support from Denver, Colorado by way of Brooklyn, New York, where I happened to be when you went live on Labor Day. I have failed to find the words through the past weeks to express how personally relieving and deeper civilizationally reassuring your efforts are being felt. To all of you and your personal peers in the work ahead, please know that I am among those who are with you at your side, yelling out as strong and consistent as possible, rugby style, that support is there, with you, with you, with you. Know that there are a lot of folks reaching out, wanting to join and to offer and to help. All the best as the tour kicks off. We'll be channeling and sending up to you as much positive vibes and Terry Fox spirit next week from Colorado when running together with Canadian friends. Thank you for that, Gray. And yes, we do try and channel the spirit of the great Terry Fox every day. He's a symbol for us in Canada, a symbol for people around the world of determination. So when I was in Mexico as part of the Canadian delegation of the Pan American Congress, we went out to try and get a sense of what's happening in Mexico. And, you know, in North America, we don't tend to pay much attention to the realities in Latin America or the incredible things that are going on there. We often see it through this haze of, you know, media misconceptions, our own prejudices, our own failure to understand the long and complex history of a very fascinating part of the Americas. But right now in Mexico, things are happening because they've elected a government that actually is there working for the people. They bring in millions of people out of poverty. They're investing in their cities. They're investing in infrastructure. Boy, imagine anywhere in North America having politicians willing to do that. So I just want to share a little tour that we took of a place. It's a project called Utopia. And these utopias are being built in various parts of the massive, chaotic, beautiful city of Mexico to make life better for people and to build resistance at the grassroots level. So check it out. Mexico City, what a dynamic, massive, incredible place. It's really important to be here in Mexico right now because Mexico is Canada's sister country in the fight against the criminal in Washington, because Donald Trump has threatened Mexico and he's threatened Canada. And it's really important to build alliances and learn lessons from each other. And I've learned a lot of lessons here in Mexico. For example, President Sheinbaum has taken this country in an incredibly powerful direction. They're investing money in getting people out of poverty, getting people off the streets, getting support for young mothers who are trying to raise their children. Can you imagine what would happen in the United States if you had a leader who actually cared about his people and was lifting them up out of poverty rather than beating them down? So what I learned from talking to the Mexican delegations here is they're not going to let Donald Trump and all his threats throw them off their national plan to build a better nation. They are going to carry on. So they're dealing with Trump in their way. And here's the thing. President Sheinbaum has 80% approval rating. God, the felon from Mar-a-Lago could only dream of those kind of numbers. But here's what's really interesting right now. Donald Trump's numbers for his economy, they're tanking because he just keeps putting a spoke in the wheel of the American economy again and again. Last month's job numbers in the States were abysmal. It was like, say, 1,400 jobs per state across the United States, that's ridiculously low. That's supposed to be the big economy that Donald Trump was going to create. Meanwhile, Canada's numbers are actually holding pretty well. And why is that? It's because Canadians are starting to become more resilient. We're investing more and we're purchasing a lot more in Canada, and it's helping. We certainly have the major threats in terms of aluminum, the threats in steel, the threats in auto, the threats in copper. Canadians are more and more and more determined. We're fed up with the threats. We're fed up with the harassment from Donald Trump. And it's not just the ordinary, everyday working class Canadians who are fed up. We're seeing business leaders saying, better no deal than a bad deal. We're seeing union leaders whose jobs are on the line saying, better no deal than a bad deal. So the message that we're sending Donald Trump as your latest threat has only made us feel more determined and more ready to fight back. So Canada and Mexico, we're building friendships. We're building alliances. And what I'm here to do is to meet with the Pan-American Congress, where I'm going to actually lay out the importance of getting all the countries of Latin America to join the Canadian boycott. The boycott that was started by ordinary Canadians, if we can build that boycott in South America, in Central America, in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, then we will put the run on that fascist in the White House, because that's what this is about. It's about building alliances, building friends, building resistance, and taking the fight to Donald Trump. That's why I'm here in Mexico, and that's the message that I'm hearing from my fellow delegates from across the Americas. They're fed up and they're ready to fight back. Welcome to Utopia. That's what this place is called. In fact, there's many utopias here in Mexico City, a massive city of 22 million people. And why is this utopia? Well, this was wastelands in poor areas that the people of Mexico redeveloped in order to give the community options for swimming, for education. This is what happens when you invest in your communities. This is what we're fighting against with the fascist threats coming from the United States, that they want to pull out investments. They want to attack communities. Like, check this out. They're doing astronomy here in the inner city. And not only that, they're making the telescopes themselves. Imagine that kind of investment working for people instead of just the fascist gangster capitalists. Can you explain your telescope?
Well,
we're from Canada.
Okay.
And we need friends because we're fighting Trump and you're fighting Trump. So we got to show people in Canada the good stuff you're doing.
Well, here we show these telescopes that are handmade. We did all the optics and the mechanics of the telescopes. Richard is our teacher, and this kind of workshops helps people to get close to science, because the people that are here in the workshop, not all are scientists. They are from all ages, and they come from all places of the city. I think astronomy is one of the best ways to get people closer to science.
Wow.
So that's the main reason these workshops are
People
here.
invented the first calendars. Yes.
We have astronomy in our blood, and it would be a really nice pleasure to get people to come back to its roots. Everything is made by hand from the beginning. This is the optics. They learn how to polish them and to correct them to a really high precision, so that it allows us to see really fine details on planets, such as the rings of Saturn, the gas clouds of Jupiter and its moons, and the great red spots in Jupiter even.
This is incredible.
Yes, you wouldn't believe the images it delivers on the moon.
Really?
It looks like you are on a spaceship watching through a little window just minutes before arriving to the moon.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, gracias. Thank you so much.
Thanks
We
you.
want to share this with people in Canada. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a really nice pleasure to have you all here. And we hope you have a really nice day here. And welcome to Mexico and Utopia Libertad.
Yes. This is a beautiful center. So this is a center for seniors, for people with Alzheimer's, people who've been left behind because they're old. Is that what this is?
Es a partir de de los 60 en adelante, se hacen actividades gerontológicas, psicológicas, yoga, tai chi, nutrición, plática con Centro Colibrí, centro de salud, talleres de rehabilitación. Somos un equipo multidisciplinario a cargo de los adultos mayores.
But it creates community for the old people who may have no place else to go.
Exacto, es una comunidad muy amplia, muy bonita, es una bonita convivencia la que se tiene con todos ellos.
Y crea comunidad para
Y crea una comunidad, exacto, al final del día se crea esa comunidad que se busca a los alrededores.
Wow. Well, gracias.
Sí, de nada.
Gracias.
Hasta luego.
Gracias.
Esa sí la entendí.
Eso depende más de la generación. Claro, pero sí, se está viendo mucho eso.
Nicer than the, lot nicer than the laundromats on Dundas Street.
Eso depende más de la generación. Claro.
What we're seeing here in Mexico is an incredible investment in taking back the power to the people, of believing that cities should be livable, of dealing with climate crisis. So they are going to stand up to Trump and the oligarch threat. But they're also sending a message to the rest of us. What are our governments doing to build our communities, to make them livable, to invest in people, to make opportunities for young people? These are lessons that Mexico and Latin America can teach us. So in our work here with the resistance is we've got to build these alliances. We have to build systems of support of people to people, community to community, nation to nation, in order to resist the gangster threat. That's what the resistance is all about. And here in Utopia, you can see resistance flourishing and building and creating a better future for everybody. One cable stop, and then head back. So, 2, 3. Okay. Whoa.
Oh my God, this is like, wow.
I had to work in roofing and I'm terrified of heights, so.
Work in roofing?
Well, I had to pay to build somehow, and the only job I could get was working on roof. So.
Keep smiling. I'll take a picture with Raleigh to show it.
You want me to do it? Okay. Okay, I'm shooting a video, sorry. Okay, you're gonna come around? Okay. Okay. This is what we do in the resistance. Okay, tell me when. I'll get it in one shot, honest to God.
Right now.
Obviously, in a city the size of Mexico City, public transit is a huge issue. I mean, they've got 12 major subway lines, nearly 200 stations. But then with the issue with the poor people living up in the mountains who couldn't get into the city, they decided that they had to start investing, and they built these cable cars. What an innovation. But ask yourself, when was the last time you heard a politician in North America talking about investing in public infrastructure, investing in public transit, and also investing in making it possible for people who are marginalized and left on the outside to participate in the economy in a big way? This is the resistance that's happening in Mexico City. This is the resistance that we need to build on and work with as allies as we face these gangster oligarchs.
You were very good. You've never been a politician, have you?
Yeah.
So they told us that they actually paint their roofs.
Yeah.
So when the cable car goes up, you can like this one.
That's so amazing. This is the Ministry of Public Education in Mexico City. This building is an incredible public monument to the history of Mexico, to its art. The artist Diego Rivera paints the murals all along the walls coming in. A third of his famous artwork is right here. What I've really learned being in Mexico and meeting with representatives from across Latin America is that Canada needs to learn more about the world beyond the United States. You know, we often think that in Canada and the United States, we are the first world, that we have lessons to teach others. But what I've learned here is that a nation that has suffered heavy colonialism, heavy years of repression, a nation that has had to deal with everything from the narco gangs to the overcrowding and poverty in the cities, elected a progressive government that is investing in education, investing in people, and investing in their story. It's really something that confronts us as Canadians right now when we realize we can no longer sit in the shadow of our big brother, the United States, a nation that is now threatening us, threatening our right to exist, threatening our very story of who we are. So like Mexico, like Latin America, we need to embrace our identity and also embrace the fact that we are part of the Americas. And to be part of the Americas is to be willing to meet and to learn from Brazil, from Colombia, from Mexico, from the other countries, and to build an alliance with them. We have so much to learn from them in terms of the progressive politics. Their fight against the far right, their fight against the fascists is the same fight that we are now fighting. And we have to build trade so that we are now trading with our comrades, our allies, our friends in the Americas. I've learned a lot here in Mexico. I think that Canada has an opportunity. We can either shrink in fear from Donald Trump, which we are not going to do, or we can embrace the big world that's out there. And that's my confident spirit of Canada, is that we are a nation of builders and we're a nation that looks outward. We're a nation that is true, north, strong, and free. And we are a nation that is rooted in the two continents that have so much shared history and so much shared struggle. And right now, one shared common foe, the far right and the gangster politics in Washington. Wow, wasn't that fantastic? This is what we want to do at Meidas Canada. You know, we're a really tiny team. We're pretty overstretched all the time. So if we're not getting back to you, it's not that we're ignoring you. It's like we're just all the balls in the air. But we want to be sharing these stories. We want to build this global conversation. We want to make people understand that change for the better is possible, and that we do that first off by not giving in to change for the worst, but to also be ready to believe and ready to reach out and to build those global networks of solidarity. So I need your help. I need you to subscribe, hit subscribe on the YouTube page, Charlie Angus, the Meidas Canada Network. We need your support. You can go to the Charlie Angus Resistance Substack. That's where we present more of the essays and the thoughts. We're going to be out on the road. We're going to keep updating people with the Meidas Canada town halls we're hosting. We need your support. If you want to go the extra mile and make a contribution so that we can get our teams on the road, contact our team at info@charlieangus.ca. We are going to keep kicking at the darkness until it bleeds daylight. Thanks so much, my friends.